Welcome to Charlotte Execs After Dark. Relationships, business talk, real life. With your host, Timothy Motivation Jones. Charlotte Execs is an organization of professional men and women in and around the Charlotte, North Carolina area who come together, put down the work, and enjoy life. Between live events, members meet on a group call and it's recorded for your enjoyment. Let's listen in.
Okay. Let me go ahead and mute some calls. I hear some noise. Let me go ahead.
Hey, this is Rashid on the line. I'm gonna mute my phone.
Yes, actually, I'm gonna mute everybody. 1 second.
Okay.
1 second. 1 second. All righty. So yeah, good to hear you, Rashid. Let me go ahead and unmute you, brother. I think I see Charlie's number. Any other brothers on the line? Please press star. Mike, Aaron, whoever else. Some other people, I can't remember their name. If you are a man on the line and you're one of these numbers, please press star. Nevertheless, we're going to get started, man. We want this time to go ahead and let the men introduce themselves to the ladies. We want them to let them know why the ladies should bid on them. And this is going to be like the gist of the call. We're going to have some we've had some technical difficulties on the website itself. So all the ladies that registered for the call, once this is over, I'm going to send them a direct link to the website. So we didn't just cancel the call and everything else. We wanted to at least have this portion, and they'll get a gist of who you are. And once they get the link, they'll put two and two together and want to know if they want to spend time. And we'll also let them ask some questions before this call is over. So I wanted to make sure that we at least let this call happen. Rashid.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
1 second. Let me grab your bio, brother.
All right.
You're 5'11", 265. And you said, at a point in life where faith matters more. Go ahead and say what you said. I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself to the people on the line. And we're recording this, too, for those who, possibly couldn't make it because we did have some delays. I understand. And they can hear it later.
Okay. So, yeah, my name is Rashid. And essentially the bio I sent you, I stated that my faith, as I get older, my faith dictates more about how I associate with people, how I view life, as opposed to societal, what society thinks or considers that we should all be a part of. In other words, faith supersedes anything that society tries to put upon me. If it doesn't jive with my faith, then I'm not a part of it. So that's my foundation. Let's see. I also included in there, I have my education. I have a graduate degree, but I also consider myself graduate level informal education, meaning that the area I grew up in the DMV, I picked up a lot of street smarts as well. So that has helped me to be able to relate to people on a variety of different levels, especially in the education field, where I work with a lot of demographics in terms of the school I work with and the previous schools I worked with. And okay. I think one last thing I mentioned was that for me, I place a lot of emphasis on laughter, on being supportive of the individual, making people laugh. That's how I try to bridge gaps and try to relate to people. So
okay.
That's basically a little bit.
Okay, I see you also say that you have a strong personality and character that keeps you grounded in your associations. What makes you say a strong personality?
Well, because I'm one of those type people that I have no problem verbalizing or demonstrating my thoughts and feelings in a respectful way. But I'm not one to, I don't want to say cower, but I'm not one to just kind of hide behind a smiling face when, I feel like something's out of whack or something's not to my satisfaction or my liking or something's not right. I have no problem speaking out on it. So when I say strong character and strong personality, the expression is you get what you see. That's kind of how I am. I just don't sugarcoat things. I kind of speak on it and in a way that, others can kind of understand the perspective that I have on things. So that's what I mean by strong character and personality.
Okay. And you say your taste is eclectic.
Right. So, I just don't. I'll give you an example. Music. I listen to music, but I can listen to everything. On my playlist, I have everything from R&B, hip-hop to classical music to Latin jazz, Frank Sinatra, heavy metal. So I listen to it all. So my taste is eclectic in the sense that not just music, but what I get involved in. I can be open to trying things, but I try not to get stuck in just one lane. I try to broaden my experiences because then I can relate more to people off that platform.
Okay, and one more thing. You said you often contradict others' first impressions once they get to know you.
Right. Well, simply put, because like one of my pictures, I don't like to smile in my pictures. And I'm not one of those type of people that are always walking around smiling. So it kind of gives the perception that I'm angry or something's wrong with me when it's really not. It's just I'm kind of reserved, and I'm kind of one of those people that just sits back and observes before I throw myself into something. So, but sometimes people can take it, in another kind of way. And once somebody gets to know me, they really know that they really can understand that my heart is in the right place, my intellect is in the right place, and if you know me, and we're good with one another, then the terminology I like to use is I'm going to be a soldier for you, because I feel like you're going to be a soldier for me as well. So I'll be there for you, you'll be there for me. So people don't get that impression until they get to know me, but they have to get to know me, and that's not something I put out there lightly.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It does. Okay. We're going to move on. Aaron, if you or Mike are on the line, please press ***. I'm going to move on over here to Charlie. Charlie, you're 5'8", 180. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
You said 108? No, sir. I'm 210 pounds.
210, my bad. Okay.
Yeah.
210, 5'8". Can you go ahead and give the ladies a gist of who you are? As we're recording this, I'm going to edit out your portions and just post a link next to your pictures for those who didn't get to hear you tonight. They'll be able to listen to what you're saying and bring your profile to life. So yeah, tell us about yourself, man.
Hello, I'm Charles Fagan. I'm a 48-year-old twice divorced father of 6 grown children, living and raising twins who are seniors in high school. I have a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. I practice chivalry. I treat you with the respect and kindness deserving of a mother and a wife and daughter. I served in your United States Navy. I was an electrical engineering technician. And I also work right now as a controls engineer for a major company where I specialize in automation. I'm a man who works for, earns what I want while providing for my family. I'm loving, caring, strong-minded. Family-oriented, sincere, I'm loyal, and without reservation nor deception. I'm true to self, and I'm true to you. I'm intelligent, funny sometimes silly, but a positive, lighthearted happiness that we both share in and is mutually gratifying. So because I know my life is blessed and it's the reason for everything that I have and aspire to be, I also treat others the way I would like to be treated. So that's my whole philosophy of my life.
That's the whole philosophy. Okay. Well, you didn't leave me no points to touch on via your bio because it looked like you just had it in hand. So that's the gist of it right there. I still didn't see any other people light up their profiles on here. So I don't think Aaron, Mike, or anybody else is on the line in regards to the men. But I'm going to go to these individual callers one by one. And I want to see if they got some questions that they can ask you guys. And we go from there. Some guys didn't even give me their profiles or bio, so that's another reason we're going to hold up. I hope cats ain't getting cold feet now. I just unmuted somebody. Your number reflects Shannon McNair. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How you doing? Is this Nikki?
Yeah. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Good. You got a question for any of these brothers?
What was the first guy's name?
Rashid.
Rashid?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes. Mhm. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
What's going on?
I really didn't have any questions. I was just listening to his description of, just explaining himself. He sounds like a very interesting guy. Someone that wouldn't take too much to actually get to that core of who he really is, since he likes to, laugh, which is a good thing. The other guy, what was the other guy's name? Was that
Charles.
That was Charles?
Yes.
Mhm.
Charles, I've heard Charles a lot on a lot of the calls that I've been on. He seems like a really nice guy too. I like the fact that he's very family oriented with his kids. I don't have any questions. I mean, they actually really explained a lot about themselves, and once we get the pictures, I know what Charles looks like. I'm not sure of the first guy on what he looks like, but the description and everything that you guys are giving is, I feel like it's good for us to go off of.
Okay, appreciate
All
that.
right. Don't break down and you see my picture, my profile. Don't break down and call 911.
You don't need the other picture. You don't need the other picture anyway. So.
Well, you say you don't like to smile. You say
I don't
you
like to smile
a lot.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
you
right.
can come off mean, but that's fine because I don't smile a lot either. People look at me the same way, so it's fine,
Sure.
So that may be a
People,
good thing. We both can look mad.
I mean, I don't purposely try to give people that perspective, but then again, I found that it's kind of helped me where I'm at in life in terms of weeding people out a little bit.
And you know what? That's so weird that you say that. I feel the same way because it actually deters a lot of people that when you do find out who they really are, you just are like, I'm glad I did look that way because, now I can curve you to the left and I ain't got to worry about you because you saw what, you looked at me and should have just kept it moving, but whatever. But yeah.
Moving.
Well,
exactly.
Judging from your voice, I think I would just smile anyway. And
you
let
gonna smile anyway?
That smile.
You see Nikki on the
I'm
picture.
gonna smile, and so that hopefully it's contagious, so I can see your smile.
You need to we'll do a research in your email and type in Nikki. You see her. She at the desk.
And I didn't smile in that picture either, but I got all my teeth and I do they all clean, so
wow.
I do have a pretty smile.
Wow.
That's a keeper.
You got to throw that out. That was just an assumption. I didn't know we had to throw that out there. So that we could just assume that, you know? Wow.
Now you can't assume that for everybody. Now everybody ain't got all the teeth now.
You're right.
True.
You're right. we live in a world where people can fabricate really easily. So
exactly.
Yeah. So
the time of the internet. Yeah.
I was just a little tidbit about me moving from California. I actually had one job that university I worked for, and I found out that some of the people actually, it was the white folks. You know, I'm not prejudiced or racial or anything, but it was. And I was told I was considered the angry black man. And it's because I don't smile at everybody. I don't kiss, excuse my language, I don't kiss ass. You know, so I just come to work and do what I do.
That's me too.
And you know, you say in your lane, I say in my lane. I'm there to work.
Because you ain't there to be super cordial and talk about the game all day. You know.
Not at all. Not at all. And I grew up in the DMV, so you grow up in the DC area, you know, people that walk by and smile at you, your first impression is like, okay, what's going on? Why are you smiling at me? You know, I don't know you. We don't know each other, so you know, it's that kind of mentality. So, but you know, my thoughts were, well, if that makes me an angry black man, then I'm proud to be the angry black man, because that's not going to change. So,
well, that must be a DMV thing, because I'm from Virginia, so that must be something that we hold down.
It is, and it's something I'm not ashamed of either. So, I mean, I'm not rude or disrespectful. Nobody can say that.
Right.
But I can't help if people are intimidated or have a weak, their character is really weak, where they can't put that aside. You know, they can't deal with that. That's not my doing.
Well, that's true. That's true, and I run into that too as an engineer, a black engineer. They swear down there for a quota or whatever, and I'm not really worth what I am. But what I do, I hit the Barack Obama on them. I keep it political, because I never know who I have to work with and who to persuade to get things done that way I need it. So I'm going to help them with that. I'm going to help them with their internal prejudices by engaging them and letting them know, you know, regardless of what you feel, we at work. And when I'm at work, I'm representing my company, not necessarily myself. So that's how I deal with it myself. I get it every day. They try me every day. So I have to let it go and keep the prize in mind, which is I'm here to clock that money. And I want your money and your money. This is how I'm going to get it, by persuading you to cooperate with me to make it happen.
That's what business people do. That's it.
Yep.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
let's move into this next caller. There's somebody's number is ending in 8048. I'm about to unmute you right now. Who do we have on the line?
Hi, this is Tanya.
How you doing, Tanya?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. So you've been listening. You got any comments or questions for the gentleman?
Well, I have enjoyed the conversation so far, and listening to Rashid and Charles and the introduction that they have given and the insight into the man that they are. I do have one question. Why do you think dating these days is so difficult? What is one challenge that you have run into yourself?
For dating what now? Say that last part again.
Why do you think dating these days is so difficult, and what challenge have you yourself run into so far?
Okay. For me, it's been actually, I really don't get why people, or females, I should say, that I've encountered, I really don't get why they, I don't want to say perpetrate a fraud, but it's kind of like that in the sense where they represent the ones I've met, I'll say. They represent one side of character, but then, there's some behaviors or some attitudes that are projected that really is uncalled for. I mean, it's like, I'll give you an example. somebody reached out to me and online and wanted to ask about my faith because I'm Muslim. So I told her I follow Islam. And I threw out there, yeah, we can have a dialogue. Hit me up if you're comfortable with it, and we can talk because I'm into those type of conversations, not just religious, but I can talk about anything that's intellectual. So that ended right there. I mean, I never heard back once I threw that out there. So I'm like wondering, why would you? First of all, you initiated this with me,
right?
And why would you initiate it? And then I give the opportunity, hey, we can connect and talk about it because I'm not going to sit there and just text, a whole dialogue like that. So I just don't get that kind of behavior. I don't get, and it's not the first time it's happened, but I just noticed that, once you throw out there, hey, you know what, we can talk. I'm not asking you to marry me. I'm not asking you to come over and sleep with me. I'm saying, hey, you reached out to me. Let's talk if you want. Hit me up. And I'll throw my number out there and I'll say, hey, if you're comfortable with this, if not, you can text me. So I leave it up to her. So when it's blown off, like no response ever again, I'm more bothered by that type of character because to me that says something about a person's character. And like I was explaining myself, if I don't want to deal with something, I just don't deal with it. I'm not going to hide behind nothing. I'm not going to fade the black on you. You're going to know. I'm not going to leave you hanging like that because out of respect, I feel like you should understand my position and my perspective as to why I'm not following through. Right. But just to fade the black like that and you reached out there, I didn't come reach out to you, so I don't get that. I really don't. And it only bothers me in the sense that because I don't understand why people have that kind of character. I really don't. Because I don't live life like that, and I don't deal with people like that. I really don't. And it's good for me because if you demonstrate that then down the road, if we were to connect some kind of way, then there's probably other things along the line, too, that would not jive with the type of individual I would want to connect with.
Right, I get it.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I run into.
Charlie, hey, my biggest challenge for dating is to find a lovely lady like yourself because you're usually not hanging out somewhere. I have to go and search for you, and you probably are too busy to really socialize, so the only way I'm probably going to find you is going door to door or join a group like this where we come together and exchange our, our life experiences and socialize like that. So that's the biggest thing for me is find somebody like-minded who's about what I'm about so that we have the basics down and then it's a matter of figuring out if we're compatible.
Okay.
And I'll answer like in 10 seconds. My thing is the pacing. I was talking to somebody about this even today. The pacing is like you want to be friends first, but either you run into some situations where they want to be all the way in or nothing. And I'm not, you don't want to go there, especially if you've done that in the past and it didn't work. It's like, why am I trying to repeat my mistake? I'm trying to pace it. And if you ain't going fast enough, there's a problem. Or they think you're not interested when you can be interested, but you're just trying to really get to know who you're dealing with. And if you're not moving forward enough, then it's problematic. So that's
I share that one.
I can definitely second that as well as what Charles said about getting out because since I moved here to Charlotte, and even when I was in Cali, my last few years, the club scene wasn't for me. When I moved here to Charlotte, I went to a club with brother, old high school brother was down here. And then that reminded me why I don't go to the clubs when I went, because all we did was really laugh at folks, how they out there carrying themselves. So when I left, I'm like, this is why I don't do clubs. Now, if I go out with somebody and she want to go dancing or something, that's cool. But just to go hang out. So short of it is that I don't get out much. I don't just go out to go out like people might suggest. hey, you just need to go. No, I'm gonna do that. I need to have a purpose.
Right.
So I'm cool with the only places I really know how to go to, and I've been here a year and a half without using GPS, is the gym, work, Walmart. You got to know how to get to Walmart.
That's the truth.
And and the doctor's office, because I don't go out and just fraternize. Now, if I go out with somebody, then yeah, I've been to some spots, but it's that kind of situation where I'm hanging out with somebody and we're out to have a good time. But just to say, hey, I'm gonna go out and do this, I'm not, because inevitably something's going to bother me with the behavior I see. People acting up, acting a fool, confusion, and I'm not with that. So I just keep it's best for me. I'm cool sitting at home and chilling. I really am. I'm cool sitting at home chilling, watching something or reading or what have you. So if somebody's along them lines with me, then we're good.
And what you're saying about me too, a lot of cats, brothers, I know, maybe not y'all, maybe not no men that the ladies on the line know, but when we went to the club, because I'm not a clubber like that either, but I'll go to a sports lounge if I want to watch a game and surrounded by people or something. But when we went to the club, we went to a club for one specific reason.
That's it.
Y'all know what that is, because ladies got in free before 11. And we know we didn't have a nice pick. And we went to get that thing warm and gone to the crib. That's what we went for. That's it. So we know we was going to have to buy a couple of drinks maybe, spend a little time with her, get her tipsy if she's tripping, move on to the next one. But we had our limits. We're going to spend a little bit. We're going to get that. That was the mission. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to get accomplished. Because they there for the same thing, some of them. So.
No, not necessarily. Sometimes you just want to shake off some stress.
Yeah, that's what I said. Some of them. They ain't mind doing it. So it was.
But it's not, for me, it's not, I'm more into, like I said, if I'm with somebody that just wants to go out and dance or what have you, that's cool. But I'm more into, hey, let's go out and let's go do this cultural thing, or, let's go get involved in some kind of activity, something along those lines. It doesn't have to be about being out in the social scene and getting all done up, to hang out for a few hours. So I prefer those type of moments now. My past is my past, and I did, I've been there, done that. So I don't need to revisit that. There's nothing there for me no more on that level. So so it's definitely because I don't get out much, I don't have the opportunity to meet. And now I work in an environment where it's all females, but I don't mix business with pleasure like that. I work in a couple environments like that. So, but it's getting out on the social scene. Yeah, I'm kind of really reserved, laid back, and if it comes to me, I've been of the impression for the last several years that the woman chooses the man. So if it's out there and it's meant to be, if God, the woman chooses the man in the sense that, if she's into you or she's attracted, then she's going to show signs, and then you can go off that. But I'm not going to be one out there to be that one that the woman walks away from, like, man.
I had the opposite experience. I had to go up there and put my neck out there, so that's part of it.
Well, it's not something that, like I said, if a sister's showing me, there might be some interest there, then of course I'm going to initiate something, but at the same time, I consider myself I consider to be more respectful, not to, like, when I'm in the gym. I'm not going to walk up to a female and just start talking because she got her music on, I got my music on. They there to work out, So to me, that's just not the right time, the right environment.
Right.
Get to a couple more
I kind of look at things, from that perspective. So when I say she chooses the man, she'll show signs if she's interested, and the man needs to step up and take it from there.
Okay.
Natasha Brown. Natasha, we're going to a couple more cards when I get to, and I don't want to hold y'all too late. Natasha Brown, let me unmute you. I'm not sure if this is you or this is just the caller. D, are you there? I got to mute somebody because of some noise. Natasha Brown, are you there? I just unmuted you. Go ahead and speak. If she's going to be shy, we come back to her. That name is familiar too. I'm not sure whose number that is. We have a number that ends in 0248. Who do we have on the line here?
Oh, this is Jocelyn Germinal.
Oh, what's going on?
Hey, nothing much.
Okay, you just listening in?
Yeah, I've been listening. I've been listening to some wise thoughts. So I'm just observing for the time being.
Okay. All right, we'll mute you. We'll come back to you for some input.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Let me see if this other call will answer again. I just unmuted somebody. Who do we have on the line? They are being shy, not for whatever reason. Who we have here? Nancy, is that you?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Hello. What's going on?
Good evening.
Nancy.
I jumped in late, so I don't know what the question was when everyone was talking, so I'm sorry.
It's cool.
We were asking if you were going to vote for Trump on that.
We have some introductions and elaborating on a couple of things. So let me tell you. Let me hold on a second. Tell us what are you looking for in a man? Nancy.
Probably, for me personally, I hope I do not offend anyone when I say this.
No.
I want someone who is open-minded socially, culturally, intellectually. Like, just know that, I'm a first-generation American. My family's from a different country. I have certain exposures to different things. I haven't traveled as much as I want to, but when it comes to certain things, I want to be able to converse on a multitude of things, and even if I don't know, he teaches me. If he knows, and then if I know something, he's open to even being exposed to different ideologies and thought processes and paradigms. So that's probably what I would want the most. Second, after that is I want courtship. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know who stopped it. I don't know where that went. But the process of exposing yourself to the other person in a very in a ritualistic way, I wish people did that more, because now when we give each other our telephone numbers and then maybe some social media contacts, you think you know so much of the person, and that slow getting to know process where you really become more and more attracted to a person without necessarily being physical or just spending time with each other that is not necessarily intimate, and then you really get to know the person and feel like, oh, I like this person, not who they know and all that other stuff. So courtship and intellect is probably my two things.
Okay, hold that thought real quick. Now, I'm about to call you Nancy because I just see her on the line. Somebody else come in. 2944 is the last four of your digits. Who do we have on the line?
My name is Jamila Williams.
Jamila Williams. We're glad to have you here. So we had some introductions and we've been talking, so maybe you can chime in due time.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
All right. Johnson, we're going to come back to you since you're on the line, and we know you're a man of some wisdom. Tell us, what are some of the biggest turnoffs for you in regards to women? We like to keep it real, so.
Are you talking to me, or I wasn't sure if.
Yes, to you. Coming back to you.
Okay. All right. Well, I think first of all, I'm a very um, practical person. Uh, my background forces me to question everything, and like the last person who spoke mentioned, I think being open-minded to me is very key because there is never an absolute truth. So things that may be true today may turn out to be not necessarily so, maybe in a year or two. So to me, I look for somebody that really is intellectually curious, meaning somebody who's always questioning things, somebody who's always open to learn. Um, I mean, being from, I don't know if you noticed, I wasn't born in this country, so I come from a different place. But I
Where
had
do
the
you come from?
opportunity to. I come from Haiti,
Okay.
but I've been in the States for most of my life, so I have a little bit of both cultures. Um, I had a chance to experience the Asian culture in its entirety, but I also travel a lot, so I had a chance to meet a lot of people because my field is engineering, so I had a chance to travel worldwide to meet people and pretty much experience all the cultures. So when I'm looking for, uh, what I look for in a woman is somebody who was very very open minded, somebody who was not afraid of the unknown, and was willing to walk out of her comfort zone.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm not sure if I'm not sure if it is something that you can ask someone in this day and age, um, but very few people are that open minded. I mean, once they believe in the truth, they want it to be true, and that's what's undermining, the whole our whole culture because people are stuck to one truth and believe that it's even in the presence of no evidence, there is nothing that will change your mind. And to me, that's a flaw. As
Okay.
long as somebody is willing to open themselves up to new ideas, I think this is the way to go.
That's good. That's good. And you said you're from Haiti. Nancy, you're from Haiti too, right? Or you got Haiti background? Haitian?
Yes, my parents are from Haiti. They came in the States in '73, so I'm the first American-born child.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he's in engineering, and Charlie, you're in engineering. So yeah, let me bounce to Nanak real quick. Nanak, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Nanak, I got a question for you. What are some definite no's when you meet a man? It's like, no way, you're not getting my number.
Oh wow, that list is long, so I'm gonna give you a short one. Let's see. Absolute no's. I'd say
Absolutely no.
if he smokes, that's an absolute no. Um, if well, yeah. That's an absolute no. If he is not a believer in God, that's an absolute no.
Mhm.
It was something else I had. Let's see. And if he has a impoverished mentality, that's an absolute no too.
That's absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to you. Caller, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. 2944. What's your name again?
Oh, my name is Jamila.
Jamila.
Yes.
Jamila, what are some absolute no's for you when you meet a man? Like, no way.
I mean, is is this upon first meeting? Because
Yeah.
sometimes, okay, uh, missing teeth. That means bad dental plan. You may not care about your physical health. Amen. If you, yeah, because that's just not where I am. That's an absolute no. Or gold teeth. That just doesn't. And I know that's physical, but that says more about you as a person. Like, what? That doesn't match me. Doesn't match me. That's an absolute no. If you approach me with anything like, what up, ma? Something other than a hello, ma'am, or hello, miss, how are you? No, not happening. I can't think. I mean, smoking is a turn off. Not going to happen. And also, like the other lady said about a believer in God, that's a no. That's a no. Not
That's
happening.
That's enough.
Mhm.
Okay. Tanya, are you there? I think that was her number. I'm sorry if that's not. I'll mute this. Nikki.
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay, Nikki. Absolute no's.
I'm 5'6", so if he's shorter than me, I'm sorry. It may sound cliche, but I can't do 5'2", 5'3", 5'6". No, we can't be the same height. That's a no for me. The smoking thing is a definite no. I'm with that. I don't do smoke. That's like gross. I don't like the way that smells. The teeth thing to me is like in my top 5. Like it's really number 1 or 2, because if your teeth are not white and you don't have all your teeth, then I can't look at you and feel comfortable being around you. Like, where's your teeth? I'm going to really get into finding out why you don't have your teeth or why they're not clean.
Right.
That's going to really bother me.
Where is your dental
we ain't about to be doing no kissing and none of that, and you ain't got no teeth or your teeth is dirty. That's just a big turn off for me. And smells. I can't do smells. I love a man that smells good, but if you have any other smell going on, then that's an absolute no for me. Besides, you going to the gym, that's different. But if you got a different type stench that's just not going away, then no, I can't deal. God is in the top 1 and 2 as well, but that smell and them teeth can't be short.
Tanya, are you back?
I am. I apologize. I had my phone on mute.
It's cool. What are some absolute no's? You met them. You don't have time to get to know them. No social setting. You see them. This is like a no for you.
Okay, so we're meeting for the first time. We haven't conversed at all.
Right.
Okay. All of the things that the previous ladies have mentioned. One thing that is important to me as well is your physical appearance. Not only, having your teeth not being gold teeth. How your attire is pulled together. I'm an engineer, so for me, I would like to have someone who I could feel comfortable taking to a work event and not be embarrassed. Another thing that's really important to me is someone who is comfortable in their own skin. Like, I am doing pretty good in my career, and I don't want to feel like I have to take a back seat or downplay where I am in life to make him feel comfortable.
Right. That's good. One of mine personally is a woman just being intelligent. And I mean, you can just, you can't have a decent conversation without you just having to break everything down. That's not going to work. We got to be able to flow in conversation. Or you got to like step back. What that mean? You know what I mean? And you talk about kind of basic stuff. So, and if
I get it.
We just on 2 different wavelengths. It's not going to flow. It's too hard. It's like a struggle,
Right.
All right, Rashid, y'all heard the women get real. What is the absolute most? Hold on a second. You said what? Who's that?
It's Nancy. Can I add something?
Sure. I'm sorry if I didn't ask you. I think I did.
Okay.
So I'm surprised no one else said that, but demeanor is a huge thing for me. Like there are respectful ways to approach and engage someone in conversation. There's ways that feel extremely disrespectful and objectifying. So how close you stand to someone, like I'm 5'4", I'm short, so technically everyone's taller than me. But there's a way to talk and look at someone that is not extremely aggressive or objectifying. That's probably number one. That's whether or not I will even smile at you, is how aggressive I feel like you're coming into my space. The other thing is masculinity. Like, it's more than just confidence in yourself, but how you speak to me. Just know that, you are a stranger, and I hope you want my number for the right reasons, but I don't genuinely know you. So, hold yourself with a little bit of decorum and respect when you're trying to engage in a conversation. And if I don't know you and I don't feel comfortable, be okay to walk away with that. Like, be okay to just say, she doesn't know me, I don't know her. Whatever she got going on, she doesn't want to talk to me, and that's fine. I think I'm sorry.
You ever run into guys who just straight get upset that they don't get your number and like haul off and call you out your name? I've heard stories like that. You ever had that happen to you?
Yes. Like, not just upset. I have been chased in a club, like groped, reached at, molested. I've had other people intervene and separate me from people. Like, it's club situations is one thing. I think public is another thing. Like, I've had men ask my children to go get me. I'll tell your mom I want to talk to her. Like, come on now. There are certain things, we understand. Part of the reason why I'm saying this is because I feel like men have been taught to chase and, go for the hunt. But women understand that we are viewed as prey when you have that mindset. So just because you can think you're not being disrespectful, there are subtle cues in how you engage in conversation that makes me understand your intention. So it may be simple. You just want my number. It may be something very simple. But how we interact with each other, just be a little bit more mindful that I don't know you.
Right. Right. Anybody else have had an angry black man or angry any kind of man just get up when you don't get the number?
I've had this is Jamila. I've had a male rip my license plate off my car because I refused to give him my number or engage in conversation. Just, I guess, because of their fragile ego. And it's like, and I've had, men get upset after engaging in about 5 minutes of what they felt was meaningful conversation. And then after that, it wasn't fruitful. They didn't get a number. And then they proceed to just, call me stuck up or whatever. And it's crazy because now if I'm ever approached, I'm very, very nice, and I feel like I'll, I may cater to the ego a little bit for fear that I'm dealing with a male that has a fragile ego and he might react in a certain way or respond in a certain way. But many times a guy poured his drink on me, ripped my license plate off my car. Yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah.
1 second, please. Somebody just came on the line. Your last four is 5654. Who do we have on the line? 5654 is your last four. Who do we have on the line? Some people are just super shy, and we respect that, but I'm at least try. Rashid, what are some definite no's when you meet a woman? Like, I don't know how often you may even get approached. Somebody's in the kitchen. I don't know who that is, but they cleaning some pans.
It's Tanya. I'm sorry.
It's cool.
I'm cooking dinner.
It's cool. I'll just mute that call. Rashid,
right.
Do you often get approached by women? Let me ask you that first, and then I'll ask you the second question.
I'm not going to say often. That could be kind of subjective, but I do. I get approached, and I do. I get signals or hints thrown my way.
And when you do, what is a definite no when a woman shows interest to you?
A definite no for me would be, and it's not just for women, it's in general, people in general, but especially for a female. If she shows me she has like a real, I don't want to say weak, but she doesn't have a strong foundation for herself. You know, to be self-deprecating is one thing, but but to demonstrate that you have kind of a I can't think of the right word, but you really don't stand for yourself. I mean, you're okay with being submissive to whatever's going on around you, just not to create any, you know, not to create any kind of confusion or disrupt it. Disrupt what's going on. When your rights or you're entitled to either speak up or perform the way you should, and you just don't stand up to that. So I mean, that to me is like probably my number one turn off is you just don't have that strong persona to be able to represent yourself and have to depend on somebody else to do it for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So
let me ask you this.
Probably 100%.
Let me ask you this: when you see a woman, what is it? It might be physical. I don't know. What is it where you say, okay, I got to holler at her. I can't let this pass. May never get the chance again. What's that definite thing that's going to make you? I mean, it could be eyes. It could be anything. What makes you think I got to holler at her?
Well, for me, I got to be attracted to her, and if that comes across, then I can, then I want to speak with her, because what's going to come out of her mouth is really going to determine for me whether or not this is somebody I can relate to and she can relate to me, or this is somebody I will have issues because I know my personality and I can already see things in her that I'm not going to want to deal with.
Right.
So it's and you know what I just mentioned about that, having that kind of weak disposition. That's one of them. If I see that, if it comes across to me initially, then I know me. I know down the road it's going to be an issue for me. You know, I have no problem standing up for the woman I'm with. I take pride in being able to do that, but I got to know that she can handle her own as well. And if I can't see that, then there's no sense in me even, pursuing it any further.
Okay.
Because I know it's a turn off for me.
Right. Charlie, definite. Let me ask you this first. Do you ever get approached by women, or do you often get approached by women? Or what's the frequency?
I rarely get approached by women, but I think it's the way situations are, because I guess I'll notice it if I do, but it's not that overt. But one of the things that turns me off is, like they said, teeth is a big thing for me. Teeth and appearance. But if you're graceful and you just radiate positivity, then you're somebody I'm going to say hello to and see if I get any eye contact. If I got any eye contact, then I'm going to go further to see if you're willing and ready to meet a new friend. And I take it from there. I try to keep it friendly so that, just like you said, Tim, about getting to know people first, and then, for us both to decide whether or not we want to cultivate something.
Right. Now, besides a woman approaching you, because that can be a little rare sometimes, do you see a frequency of women at least batting their eyes at you, showing interest, and then it allows you to...
but it kind of makes me feel like I'm the girl and being pursued, and I don't like that. So it makes me feel some kind of way about that. So if I do get that, I will then, take over for her and see what's up.
But she's showing it. You talking about because she's batting her eyes?
No, I mean like when they come up saying, and like straight up, hey, how you doing? What's up with you? And not what's up, but they are actively pursuing you, like aggressively. I get that, like seldom, but me myself, I'm like my man said, there's time and place for everything. So sometimes it may happen, but I wouldn't notice because I'm minding my own business. Unless you catch my eye, then I'm going to pursue you.
A woman pursuing me is kind of scary. You know what I mean?
You said scary?
Well, yeah, it depends on
it. Can be.
If she's showing interest is one thing, but if she's pursuing me,
right,
that's a red flag for me. It's like I'm good. You know, when you've
had some
crazy,
I apologize.
Yeah, when you've had some crazies in your past, you're like, I'm not trying to repeat that. You know what I'm saying? You kind of see the tendencies, you know, and that's one thing they kind of do. They kind of go hard. You know, it's like instead of just letting it flow, it's like they want to force you to be their man. It's like, nah.
Right. Can I interject something real quick, Tim?
Go ahead.
Yeah. One of the things that my mom growing up always emphasized to me is to have class. And I've placed a lot of emphasis on looking at a female and trying to determine if she's a classy individual just by the way she carries herself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's big for me because if you're talking about a woman being aggressive, I had a situation not too long ago in the gym where sister come up to me and she started talking, and one of the first things out of her mouth was, "Are you one of them light-skinned people that one of them light-skinned guys that sees God's gift to women?" And I'm like, "Whoa, you don't even know me." I'm thinking to myself, you know. And then when she later on came and gave me a number, you know, I see her in the gym, but she don't ever ask me why I ain't called her because look how you came off.
Right.
You know, I mean, who does that?
Right.
Right? And there's somebody who doesn't have much class. So, yeah, you know, sister has to demonstrate that she's classy, you know, because I'm going to represent that with her.
Right.
And so I only ask, so yeah, you know, I just wanted to throw that in there.
Okay, and let me bounce over here to Nancy. Nancy, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, because you've heard of talking about the approach and women and stuff like that. I mean, some things I may be privy to already, so you kind of, you know, how do you meet men and maybe like with a business card or something? Can you tell us how you do things?
So traditionally, I do not like men to approach me. I just don't like the physical being the only thing, and I think that it's very hard to meet someone in public under any circumstance. Like you just don't have a lot. It's awkward. It's unusual. You don't know what they're trying to say to you. So normally, what I do when I see a person that I'm interested in is I just give them a business card. I am a real estate agent, so they either have the opportunity to, you know, reach out to me. So I do leave it up to the man to initiate communication or what kind of communication that we start from, but I don't like being approached in public.
Okay. I wanted to get that part. Just to, you know, just to get a balance in this thing.
Yeah.
Jocelyn, you still there? Jocelyn? I thought he was about to start talking. I think that's his tweet. Oh, you there? Okay. Let me ask you a question. We're just doing some randoms here. What is your idea of the perfect date that costs no money?
Well, first of all, I think there are certain things that are, you know, what you call natural attraction. There are certain things, certain mannerism or behaviors that once you see it, you feel, well, this person is classy, the way that you guys have been talking about. But the ideal date that doesn't require money to me is maybe sitting down for a cup of coffee at Starbucks, for example, where you get to, you know, talk about almost everything. It doesn't have to be a particular subject, because to me that's how you that's how you really know the real person, not by having some preconceived idea where you say, okay, this person is the right fit for me. I'm not of that school of thought. I think two people might at first seem compatible, but once they start talking to each other, they realize that they are on two different universes or on two different galaxies. So to me, the best way really to engage is to have, real chat. It could be over a cup of coffee. It could be, discussing a movie. And then you get to understand, how that person thinks. And if you're really into a relationship, to me, that's what you should look for. You should look for the mind, not the body. Of course, the attraction has to be there, but what's inside a person is usually the most important factor.
That's good. That's good. And because you said that, I'm gonna bounce right back to you for a quick 30 seconds, Nancy. We've heard it quite a few times. I'm gonna go to Monica next. Quite a few times, people saying about the attraction. What's your take on attraction?
I need more than physical. So my requisites normally don't have anything to do with what the person looks like. I definitely need intellectual connection. I need someone to understand that I may be an emotional person, or there's certain things we want long-term, goal-oriented, but the ability to be vulnerable and have genuine conversation is probably the most important thing for me. And that can happen, on a picnic date, rarely in a movie. So it's funny when we think about dating, when you get to know the person, I think that your perception of dating goes away more than I'm slowly getting access to this person. So we do what each other wants to do. So if that person is a painter, our date can be painting. It doesn't have to be some formula. It has to be based on us and our connection and exposure to each other.
Right. Wanting to stay in the area of attraction, though, because, I know you, Nancy. We want to stay in there. In regards to, so you're saying the men that you date are ugly?
So I have dated men who are not. I've dated ugly men. But that is because I put the priority of our connection over the aesthetics. So so for example, if I'm in a group and there's a hot boy over there and all these other people, I'm going to genuinely gravitate towards people who are in the peripheral. I'm gonna speak to the quiet person. I want to know, while because I'm an introvert, so I'm going to be most likely attracted to someone who is quiet, not trying to get other people's attention, not trying to feed the crowd with antics. I like someone who's more quiet and more genuine.
And sometimes you just a party girl, party boy. Naturally, you don't even try. You just that type of vibe. You got life in you.
Right, but I don't like that. I don't like the life.
I'm just playing.
That's the point.
Let me quit playing. Monica, what is your ideal of a perfect date, whether it costs money or it doesn't?
That's an interesting question. Perfect date. I thought it was just with no money. If it's no money, I know. Well, I have two. Well, if it's no money, I kind of like miss home for this reason. Because there's nothing like going to the water. It's just walking and talking, kind of getting, what I would say, intimate emotionally or even mentally versus physically. It's something that, to me, the water is so tranquil. It seems like it brings out the calmness in everybody. So I like that. If it was a paid date, I would prefer whatever we did, we had the ability to talk. because I'm a conversationalist. So I'd rather talk to you than sit in a movie and watch you eat popcorn. So anything that would allow us the opportunity to talk. So that's my answer.
Okay, we're going to bounce to Nikki, then Tanya, then Jamila. Nikki, your idea of the perfect date. Money and no money.
No money, I would have to say, I would have to agree. What was that? Was that Nautica that just was speaking? I would have to agree with her. I'm a big communicator. So when it comes to communicating and us having that ability to actually talk, to get to know that person and see where their head is and make sure that we're on the same page, I would have to say, like, going to the park, even on some putting on your workout gear and just taking a walk, you know, getting your steps in or whatever, but still being able to get that conversation in, to get to know them. An actual date that was money, a nice wine bar, you know, get a little appetizer or something, I feel like is a good setting. The ambiance is good for you to have that communication and be able to get to know that person.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll meet you, Tanya. I know you're in the kitchen cooking. Are you still there?
Okay, from me. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can.
For me, a good date without any money would entail a picnic. I like to cook, so, you know, I could throw things in a basket, a bottle of wine, and get a blanket and just lay out and eat and talk. A date with money could be something like a jazz bar. We could listen to music and also converse at the same time.
I'm feeling that. Yeah. Okay. Jamila?
I agree with all the ladies, their sentiments or their thoughts on dates. I mean, a date without money, just any situation or scenario where we can talk, because that's most important to me. So, I mean, walking in the park or just around the city, or just, you know, a picnic of some sort, that would be ideal. And then a date with money, I mean, I like museums personally, so like just walking around there, just kind of being able to kind of take in the aesthetics and have a conversation, even, you know, at a wine bar or a setting where there may be people around, but we still have the opportunity to be close enough where we can engage in conversation. That's actually ideal. Like movies and things like that, that's for way on down the road when we're really familiar with each other.
Right. You ain't got to talk because you're already, you know, familiar. I get that.
I already know you.
Yeah. I'm going to try to unmute this caller. Just unmute you. Are you there? Well, you're there. You want to say anything? No?
I'm here. I don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah. Who is this we have on the line?
This is Kim.
Kim. You've been listening. We want to know your take on the perfect date with money and with no money.
Well, the perfect date for me with no money would actually be like at a family function. I'd like to, I think there's a lot you can get to know about a person just by hanging out with their family. So take me to a barbecue. And as far as a date with money, I would enjoy doing something with some kind of sports activity. I'd like to see how competitive he was. So I typically like to do something like that. Maybe play some pool, maybe do some kind of, climb a mountain, something with, where you can kind of see each other's competitive nature, just see how he handles that kind of thing. Getting beat by a female.
Look, I want to say, see how he handles the loss, huh?
Yeah.
And I just realized what Kim this was. Okay, good to have you on the line. Rashid, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I had it on mute.
It's cool. What is the most elaborate date that you've ever pulled off?
Most elaborate. That's a good one because I'm kind of old school when it comes to dates. So I do the flowers and kind of get a feel for what she likes. So it's probably nothing more than dinner, show. When I say show, I mean like a concert. They kind of make a night out of it. The last one, it was a limo. Got a limo. Did the town. Some sightseeing before we went out to eat and before we went to a concert. That's not really that elaborate, but it's I guess along the lines of what you're probably asking about.
Okay. She liked it, huh?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, because it was a surprise. I'm kind of, I like to see people's reaction. I like to see her reaction.
Me too.
When she's not expecting something that, and limo just pops up to the door and seeing that expression. I just tell you, get ready, go out for a night, and the expression for me is definitely the payment. Being able to see I made her happy by surprising her with something that she wasn't expecting. So it doesn't have to be necessarily, extravagant as much as it is. Again, I go back to just trying to demonstrate some sort of classiness in how I approach or how I treat her when it comes to taking her out, because she's accompanying me, so she's supposed to be making me look good. I want dudes to turn around and be like, hey, you know what? What do you got that I ain't got? Besides her right now.
My thing is also this too. Is not so much as planning this great big event versus planning something that I know she'll enjoy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you can go totally left field doing what you want to do, but have you learned what she likes to do?
Exactly. And if we do what I like to do, then it'll be a short evening. Because again, I'm not for a whole lot of extra, but it's definitely about finding out what she wants, what she likes, and there's subtle ways you can find that out. And just plan from there.
Exactly.
But to me, the element of surprise is everything. So I kind of that's how I kind of like to approach things.
I agree. Charlie, your most elaborate date that you planned and pulled off? Mr. Niagara Falls, are you there?
Hello?
Yeah.
You got me?
Yeah, y'all don't have to push mute, man, because I can mute everybody. When I unmute you, you're good. So what's the most elaborate date that you've ever planned and pulled off?
Well, I'm not that elaborate either. Well, but the most gratifying mutually for me was a day at the amusement park where we got to run around and wild out and play games together, and I win her a stuffed animal, make her feel good about that, and just the being thrilled together on these rides and stuff like that. That was a great time that I had with that we both did have. So things like that is what I'm interested in.
Okay, yours is kind of quick, so I'm going to ask you another question. Tell us about a date that just bombed. Have you ever had one?
Oh yeah, I had a date where I like to take you out to dinner, and not just for the conversation, but also to see your manners and if you're rude or polite. And I came across a lady who was not very nice. He wasn't nice to the wait staff or anybody. I mean, it was just embarrassing, and so it just turned me off for anything else, and so I had to let her go for that.
After that date? After that date?
Oh,
really?
Yeah. And even if you chew with your mouth open, I can't be with you. We had to stay in the friend zone.
Oh no! In public too? No.
Yeah. So stuff like that.
I get it. Somebody just came on. Deion Benjamin. Are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Hi. Is that your name?
Yes.
Great. Glad to have you on the call. We were just kind of going around. We were just kind of going around asking people what would be their ideal date with spending money and no money. So we're going to pull you right into the conversation, Deion. What is your ideal date? First of all, let me ask you this. What do you do for a living?
So I'm a lawyer, and now I'm doing legal consulting for a bank here in Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would be your ideal date? Because I know we had an engineer and we got a couple, everybody on here doing something good. As a lawyer, could you even deal with a date that's not costing any money?
Yeah, I mean, I think the money is not important at all. What's important is that I have a chance to get to know the person. So ideally, it would be over dinner. That can be, at a nice restaurant or a Waffle House. It doesn't really matter as long as the conversation is good. So I would take money out of the equation, totally.
So your ideal date that includes money would be?
I would say maybe dinner and dancing. I love to dance. I've been trying to take a ballroom dance class, so something like that would be fun for me. I wouldn't like to go to a movie because then you can't really talk. So I think the object of the first date is to really get to know the person. So dinner is perfect.
And no money because dinner would cost money. So no money would be a date doing?
Walking at a park, going to, I'm not that familiar with Charlotte, but if there were museums here that are free, that would be fine. Going to a bookstore, just talking about our favorite authors. I'm a cheap date. I'm an easy date. So.
Really? Now, I was just about to ask that unified question for all the ladies that are on here. How would you feel, though, really, on a first date that a man, this is a unified question, a man asked you on a date and this date was not going to cost a dime? Would you think he was cheap? Honestly.
I would say no. It depends on how well planned out the date is.
You wouldn't say he was cheap because no money was spent.
Right. I mean, I've had a guy take me on a date that he thought he was doing amazing and spending a lot of money, and the date sucked. So if he wasn't spending money but the date was great, that's what would be important.
This is Nikki. I would have to say that if the chemistry between you and that person is there, and you like this person, you're attracted to them, and you feel like that it's going to go somewhere, it really shouldn't matter how much money he spends. But like you said, a lot of women do look at things like that. I don't look at things like, okay, you spent a lot of money on the date, because you're not giving me the money. I mean, yeah, the money is going towards the food and whatever, but you ain't. It's money you're spending, yeah. But I look at that completely different, because a man can have all the money in the world, but he may be stingy and don't want to give you none of it or do nothing for you with the money. So a free date to me, if I have the chemistry with him and the conversation is great, then it wouldn't make me a big difference at all. If you really want to get to know that person and let it go somewhere.
This conversation needs to be heard, because I think a lot of men think otherwise.
Can I add something though? So
sure.
So here's the thing about dating. Like, it's more than just, all right, here's a venue for us to talk. It should be an example of our interaction with each other. I mean, as each date progresses, we're supposed to know what each other likes. So I wouldn't drag you somewhere. So it's not just the venue or the event, but I wouldn't drag you somewhere out of our converse comfort zone. Like, I know you don't like sports, or I don't like sports. So taking me to a ball game, I don't care if you're the pitcher. I don't care. I don't want to be there. I have no interest there. So it's more than just the venue. Are you paying attention to me as a person and how our interaction is going? We could have a flippant joke, and because maybe I wasn't exposed to something culturally, you take me there. That's going to score you so much more points than Dressler's or Vapiano. You know what I'm saying? I'm more interested in the fact that you are actually attentive to me and what we're conversing about.
Let me ask you something. So during the date, he's scoring points. What if he's wondering if you're scoring points?
Well, so based on our conversation, I'm present. The point of the date is not necessarily the place, is that I'm present in our interaction. So this is going to go back to a joke that we had on the phone. It's going to be referenced in a future conversation that we have. It's not just, these are these expeditions like class trips. This is a get-to-know-you process. So how much money you spend is really not as important as I'm respecting you as a person and what we've shared so far, and we're going to keep going this way.
Sure.
Hey, Tim, this is Nikki. Let me say one more thing, because you were just like, this has to be something that's said for men. And I feel like that it is something that I think is a misconception that men have, and they put it on all women, that women are all about how much money you get and how much money you're going to spend. It is women out there like that, but they should be able to tell that off the top. Like, in conversation, you should be able to get a vibe from a female that, she's all about my money, or you should be able to get a vibe from her that, she's interested in me and want to get to know me as a person. Because it is a lot of guys out here that think that, let me throw this money on you, and this is what it's going to be. And a lot of females are not like that. Like, I want to get to know you for you and seeing if things are actually going to go anywhere, because, you can have money, that's fine, but I'm not looking in your pocket to see how much money you got. I'm trying to get to know you as a person and seeing if we're going to be able to develop a relationship and build something, not how much money you got, because if we're together, then, we actually go somewhere with it. We're going to be a team together, so our money is going to be as one. It shouldn't be, he got all this money, he's doing this for me, but I can see where they're coming from, but they shouldn't put that stereotype on all women, because all women are not like that.
Right. It's true.
Yeah, and to piggyback off what Nikki's saying, I mean, honestly, it's a turnoff for men that leave with their pockets.
Me too. It is. It is a big turnoff for me.
A lot of men also, once they get to spending money, they can spend time, they can do some, labor for a year, clean your yacht, but once they spend money, they also kind of think they own you. I've ran into a few of them. I got 8 sisters.
Exactly.
So I understand. They
I
think they own her after they spend some money on her. So
I won't say the owning part, but
I'll say the owning part. Yeah.
Well, I just think that after they spend so much money, there's an assumption of what they should, what should come, what you
after
owe them,
that.
if you will, after that. So
they're trying to get a return on that investment. That's what that is.
Exactly.
Jamila, what was one of them?
I think that's all the more reason why your first encounter should be something that's minimal and expensive, and something that you can just go out and enjoy the scenery and communicate
and have a good time.
Let it be
without no money.
Right.
Without no money, just let it all be about just sitting, talking, maybe observing the scenery, nice picturesque scenery, but mainly about the communication to see if there's even a connection on that level. Because I don't mind going out and picking up the bill. That's, as far as I'm concerned, that's what I'm supposed to do as the man taking the woman out. However, I'm quick to be able to figure out whether or not this is an investment rather, or if this is just something to do. Because if it's something to do, then it's only going to happen once. But if it's an investment, then okay, I'm in that. I don't mind. But the first time around, it has to be something where, you get to know me, I get to know you, and we see if there's anything to branch off from there. And that way, nobody's expectations are ruined, and there's not a whole lot that was, put into something for that particular moment. Both get in your cars, you go your own separate ways. That's the way it is, and nobody feels out of sort about it. And so,
All right. Jamila, what was what was the best date to date that you've had?
Oh boy. Goodness. It's been a while. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. I think the best date was okay. I had an entire day just kind of dedicated to just us spending time together, and I love the water, I love the beach, so we just had an entire day of, breakfast on the beach, and then just kind of activities, just, us walking and talking, and then the time just flew. It was basically a date that lasted the entire day, and there wasn't anything like spectacular going on, like there wasn't an event or anything, but the date was pretty much, he paid attention to the things that I enjoy, the things that I have spoken about. I love the water, I love the beach, I love being outside and all that type of stuff. And he created that experience for me. And that was the most memorable, by far. Like, I felt like I was the most special person in the world.
Did y'all turn off cell phones?
I'm sorry?
Did y'all turn off cell phones?
Oh, yeah, no cell phones, no nothing. It was just completely dedicated to us connecting.
That's important.
And then there were moments of silence where we were just kind of sitting and just kind of taking in the scenery, which was also very refreshing. But it was just an opportunity where there were, it was just like the two of us only existed. It was amazing.
That's cool. Mr. Jocelyn, you still there, sir? We see you on the line, but are you still on the phone? You sounded sleepy earlier.
Yes, I am. I am still here.
Okay. Tell us, sir, your most memorable date. Let's just keep it wide open. What's the most memorable?
Well, from listening to the lady, it was really refreshing to confirm something that I've always believed in, that the classy ladies don't really look at dates in terms of how expensive they are. In fact, as many of you have reiterated, that if somebody spends a lot of money, usually they assume that there is a debt associated with it, and it shouldn't be that way. In fact, if you think that you are going into a date with the intention that you're buying something, I think the starting point is the premise is really bad. So to go back to the question you just asked is
your most memorable date?
Most memorable date. Well, most memorable date happened when I would say almost inadvertently, right? I was traveling to my friend's wedding to Sudan, and I had to stop in Cairo, in Egypt. And then I had a friend whose father had an apartment in Egypt, so he stopped. He picked me up, and then he took me to a club, and then I met a girl. So essentially, it was nothing really. We just talk, and first of all, we had difficulties communicating because the English wasn't as good, and I didn't speak Arabic, so it was kind of difficult at first. But as we started talking, we started exchanging ideas. It happened that she was from Somalia. She came from a war zone. Her mother just shipped her off of the country because she wanted to protect her.
Mm-hmm.
So, and here I am, as a immigrant from a different country and I had my past, so we were able to communicate. And to me, what was most important is the dialogue, the discovery process. Like you're talking to someone, you're learning from that person, you're learning a little bit about their cultures, and to me, there was nothing, just conversation. And then it went it went from there. Little bit that I know. About 2 months later, she had moved to Australia, and she invited me to come over. Mind you, this is somebody that I only met for one day. I would say a few hours because I was on my way to the States when we met. But we continued. I mean, the conversation was so rich that we didn't want it to be just an accident. We wanted to make sure that this is something that has a following, and to me that was it.
Did you think this was like love at first meeting?
I really don't believe in that. I think once people start talking, then there is a dynamic that starts to develop. There's a chemistry that starts to develop, and then you may feel that you're more closer than you apart. But as far as love at first sight, it could be something totally physical, because how do you know the monster? You may be a beautiful monster.
Okay.
But like I said, the connection, to me, that's what matters. And you can only experience that. You cannot guess that. You have to experience it.
Okay. I got a question for Dion. I'm gonna go to Monica. Dion, you there?
I'm here.
Okay. What is the worst date you've experienced?
Okay. The worst date that I went on was when I met this guy online. I think it was from Match.com, but it could have been OkCupid. Anyways, we talked on the phone, and everything seemed normal. His pictures, he looked, like a regular guy. And we decided to meet. I was living in the D.C. area at the time, so we met at a restaurant near, the waterfront. And this guy had on a full face of makeup, like foundation, blush, had his eyebrows arched, he had filled in his eyebrows. I mean, wow. Like a full face of makeup. Like he went to MAC and just got totally made over. And his voice went up 3 octaves, and I'm just like, this is not the person that I saw online. You know what I mean? And the whole conversation was weird because I don't know. I felt bad about. I didn't want to get up and leave. But at the same time, I didn't want to be there. It was an awkward conversation, and we never spoke again. But that was my worst because I just was not expecting that.
Wow.
But that's what happens when you date online. I've done that a couple times, so you remember. Right.
So could you look at him, or was your conversation staring off into the distance while you were talking to him?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to seem engaged, but I'm sure that he could tell I wasn't really present. I was just like, why am I here?
That means you got catfish.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what happens when you do the online thing, because
or in Nancy's case, or in Nancy's case, hatfish. You say,
hatfish, yeah.
Nautica, you there, ma'am? I don't know what's up with these 5-10 second pauses. Nautica, are you there? I don't know what she's doing. Nancy, tell us about your hatfish.
So I must preface this conversation by saying it's probably 10 years ago plus. So I met this guy on Black Planet. I'm showing my age because I'm 40. But it was in New Jersey. And so he was older, and he had on a hat.
So all his pictures, he had on a hat, and we finally, we exchanged messages. We set up a date, and then he asked me to come get him. So me not recalling, it's Jersey up north. A lot of people don't have cars, but I went to go get him, and our date was on a Sunday evening. And I got to the house, and he lived in the basement of his stepmother. Not his dad, not his mom, but his stepmother's basement. I should have known something was wrong then, because I picked him up. He was big, he was really big, and not that big, but muscular big and very tall. But he was so bald, and not bald on purpose, but bald like he was fighting it. So you saw speckles of scalp and then hair that is still growing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you really want me to tell this whole story?
Well, just you can kind of skip over, but just go ahead and tell us about what happened. What about the date?
He was supposed to plan the date, and I am driving the car. We are on dark roads in New Jersey, and he just kept telling me how beautiful I was and losing the direction. So, I'm trying to figure out how we get to the date. We get to the movies. The movie last show was 7 o'clock, so we missed that. And then we're still driving down these 2-lane highways, and I was like, if you're going to kill me, can I just call my children and tell them goodbye? Because it was dark, and I swear all he kept saying was, you're so beautiful. But he said it in a way like I was going to die that night. So we get to IHOP. So he picks IHOP. We get to IHOP, and I asked for a tea. I'm always cold. The lady came and gave me 2 tea bags. There's nobody else in the restaurant. He snatched one of them and told me to tell her she didn't give me 2 tea bags, to ask for another one. So
he didn't put the tea bag in his pocket?
In his pocket. Then I couldn't eat all my food, and he just, he ordered a lot. I think I ordered, a little croissant something, and he ate it, and he was upset. We finished. He pulled out his cell phone to calculate how much her tip should be. Wow. And then when we finished pay, he got to the car and he stood at the driver's door. So I thought he was going to open it for me, being chivalrous. And he said he's waiting for his hug and kiss. I said to myself, I need to get home to my children. So the date ended by me going to a gas station and giving him $5 and asking him to go inside and get me a gallon of milk. And then I drove off. And I never...
Now you know why he was living in the stepmom's basement.
I wish I could tell people how creepy he was, because he kept saying, "You so beautiful," but he said it like Mike Tyson said it, like, "You so beautiful," and I was like, "I'm gonna die."
But didn't you say, even when you went to pick him up, or maybe you already said it, that he came to the car and told you that he had to go back in and get $20 from his stepmother?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
That was red flag, bloody red, right there.
Yeah, that's when you should have drove off.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. I would have saved the $5 in the gas money.
Yeah, you'd have saved everything.
Right. Yeah. Tanya, are you there, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
Sounds so polite and sweet. Have you ever ran into the jerk on a date?
Yes, I have.
Tell us about it.
Well, it was actually my first date after the divorce, and he seemed really nice on the phone. And he offered that we go out for dinner, and he asked if I could come out to his area. So I said, sure, no problem. And I got about halfway to his area. I didn't know his exact address, but I pulled over at a gas station and said, hey, I'm halfway to your area. Where are we going to meet? And he says, well, can you just come to my house? I said, well, I don't feel really comfortable doing that. And he mentioned, well, I've got 2 daughters. They're here. They're teenagers. You'll be fine. So after some coaxing, I did. I went to his home. Not a smart move, I know. So after that, got to the house and sat down, and I was talking to his daughters, who were very nice. And for about 45 minutes, I was sitting there as he was getting dressed. But as he was getting dressed, he was also taking phone calls. So after a while, I just got up and I said to his daughters, well, tell your dad, I know he's busy, and we'll try to hook up another time. So as I was walking to my car, he came out, and he came out in an aggressive manner, totally pissed off at me that I was leaving his home after he had me sitting there waiting for 45 minutes. And eventually went out to dinner, and at the end of the date, we're going, he got in my car with me, so I'm driving him back to his home. And it was a holiday weekend. I think it was like July 4th. And he asked me if I wanted to stay over at his place. And I said, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And then he got pissed off about that and told me never to call him again. So
wow.
That was the first and last time that I heard from him after that.
Wow. So how did you end up letting him coax you into going to dinner after he done sat there patiently and while he's being rude for 45 minutes?
He did apologize. He apologized, So, I took it at face value and accepted his apology, and we went out and we had dinner from there.
Well, you're very patient. Forgiving.
Yeah, I've been told that.
Nautica, you back on the phone?
Yes.
There you go. What have you ever had any weird dates where you just felt super uncomfortable?
I can't say that I have.
What about any bad dates?
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, usually I'm eating, so I'm always happy when I'm eating. So this is very hard. But the only thing that really makes a date bad for me is if we're out eating and the person is smacking. Like I can't handle it. I mean, I go into like a trance where I just want to be like, are you kidding me? Like, it just doesn't make any sense that people can't chew quietly. Like, no one needs to know that you're eating. Like, I can't stand that. Movies really, those don't ever seem bad to me unless the movie sucks. But other than that, I mean, I don't think I've ever had a bad date that I can recall. I had a weird one. Really long time ago.
Before you say that, hold on a second. Is a movie date really a date? You're not talking, you're not conversing, no interaction. Is that really a date unless you're going to do something before and after?
Well, usually it is something before or after. You know what I mean? But sometimes that's probably the only thing you can do. You might get there earlier. I don't think it's ever a good first date. You know what I mean? But that's not the only time people can mess up either. So, but I had a really, really, really weird date. This one time I was, this when I lived in Cleveland, and this guy, I was online, and I was just like, because I didn't get out much because I worked a lot, so I was just like, let me just try to meet different people or whatnot, and as long as I meet them in public, I'm fine. You know what I mean? So that's what happened. So I pull up in front of like this mall that's downtown, and I clearly pulled too close to the car in front of me. But he pulled up behind me. Now, he had this picture online, and he looked so innocent and fairly young. But when he came to my car, I was like, this can't be the dude. You know what I mean? Because he looked like he was about 20 years older than the picture. And I was like, dang, I can't even pull off because I'm too close to the car in front of me. So I'm like, well, we just going out to eat. He paying, so I'm good. So we went to some restaurant, and the whole time, this dude talked about his deceased wife.
Oh, wow.
And, I'm not an insensitive person, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, well, maybe that's the reason why he's just trying to get out, And I know I'm a person that's very easy to talk to. Why he chose to talk about that, I don't know. But I just listened. I didn't really say nothing. But clearly I'm thinking to myself, like, there will never be a next one. Clearly from when you walked into my car looking 20 years older than you were supposed to. But this is not first date conversation. So I was just like, this is really weird. But he was nice. And I was like, okay, cool. We done eating. I'm about to go, right? So then he says, do you want to go dance? No. I want to go home. And he was just like, well, just what? No. No, I really just want to go home. Maybe we could chat some other time or whatever. So he walked me to my car, and then I get in the car, and I'm getting ready to go, and I'm like, I don't know where he came from, so I don't know if we have similar paths until we could get on, like, maybe the highway or something. So I took the city streets. I was like, yep, plan to go to my dad's house, because if you follow me, because I didn't know. I mean, everything was just weird.
Right.
And I was like, I'm going to just go to my dad's house. I was like, because if you follow me, at least I got backup, or something like that. But it wasn't like that. He went on by his business. But I never talked to him again. I was like, that was the weirdest thing ever. I mean, I wasn't mad. I wasn't disappointed or anything, really. It was just like, this had to be a charity, charity case.
But you were gonna pull off on him for real if you could have.
I sure was, man. You don't even understand. I was like, dang, and I never pull that close to anybody. You know what I mean? I usually try to give enough room so nobody hit you if somebody pull out and pull back in. But I was like, dang. I was like, I'm not even far enough where I could just roll off on this dude. Right. I was just like, okay. So he gets back in his car, and I had to follow him where we were going to go because he pulled up right behind me, so I couldn't back up or nothing. I was like, oh, this is just going to be.
So you had to follow him.
Together and get your food.
So you could have pulled off then when you were following him.
I could have, but I just was like, it probably wouldn't have been that for him to, you know what I mean? Just probably because we were downtown, so everything is like one way.
Okay.
So so it's like, it's probably nothing for him to be like, oh, that's what you gonna do? Let me teach you, And I was just like, it's too late now. I was like, I'm gonna just go ahead. I was like, I waited this long. I'm at least eat. You know what I mean? How bad could that be?
That's right, because when you eat, when you're eating, you're happy, right?
Exactly. I was like, this gonna be good. I was like, so I'm gonna get a free meal. And it was a nice restaurant, too. So I was like, he ain't having no problem spending no money, so, okay, cool. How bad can it be? Wow. This was, it was an open, you know what I mean? It wasn't anything, like, romantic. Because if it was, I wouldn't have been there. I was like, you know what? I had an emergency. I got to go.
Wow.
But, yeah, that was really weird. Really weird. I can't believe I remember that.
And at the next event, I'm gonna be sure to come sit by you and smack. Charlie, Charlie, you there, bro?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bad date. Ever had one?
I did tell you about the dinner where smacking is a thing I can't stand either. You chew with your mouth open and you got no etiquette, and you're rude. I can't be down. We just stay friends. But other than that, that's my main thing to do. And I do love those walks in the parks too, because I appreciate nature myself, and that's a good opportunity to get in each other's heads and see where which way we're going. So, but my worst date is again based on, and that's one of the reasons why I want to take you to dinner to see if we vibe that way. So
So that's the only one? Just that dinner date was the only one, huh?
Well, yeah. Well, he was talking about online ones. I did an online date before, and I met this lady, and she particularly had a problem with the way I walk. She said I
Really?
I walk too ethnically. So, well, I'm not changing myself, so you got a problem with that. We can't be down here.
This is your first date, and she mentioned, and she voiced that opinion.
Yeah.
Wow.
She didn't like the way I walk.
Was this early on in the date where it was kind of like weird, from then on, or was it later in the date when she said it?
No, it was like, I guess he was, I don't know. I can't understand where it came from, but she sounds like the kind of lady who wants to direct everything. She's
Control.
one of those A personalities, yeah.
Yeah.
So it didn't work.
A personality. What is an A personality? Because I've heard that before.
I believe it's that personality that doesn't want to know the details, but knows what has to be done, when, and by whom, and right now. So it's a manager type, but it's a good thing in the right setting. But you gotta know when and where to use it.
Okay. Rashid, you ever had just a toe-up date, just a terrible date?
I don't know if I would consider them dates. I would call them more just encounters. Look back on them because I made the comment being catfish, and those wasn't dates. Those were just encounters. And I can't stand for somebody to lie to me and then try to play it off like you're really not lying. So my demeanor changes. Like I said in the beginning of our conversation, I had no problem conveying how I feel about something. So those I would consider those bad dates simply because I was lied to and misrepresented, and then I'm put in a situation like the ladies were saying they hung around. I don't hang around. I will, like the last one I had some time ago, I told her I had to get home and walk my dog. It was getting late, and I had to get home and walk my dog. I'm going to get out of it. Yeah, because if you disrespect me like that by lying to me and misrepresenting me, I'm not going to disrespect you, but I'm not going to show you but so much and hanging around you, and I'm going to get up out of there. I'm not going to, women are more patient, more tolerant. I agree with that. Me, nah. I'm not going to put up with a bad experience like that, so I'm going to try to get out of it. So that would be my experience with bad dates. I did have one when I first moved here. Also, I kind of misjudged her because she was like 40, so I thought she was kind of a classy individual as well. And she asked me to meet her at a club, and I made the mistake of doing that because when I pulled up and I seen dudes with pants sagging and chains and I am dressed up, then I knew I was in the wrong place with the wrong type of person. So I would consider that a bad date as well. So
that was one of her regular spots, huh?
That was what? That was one of her regular spots.
Spots, because it could have been a bad choice.
Yeah, it was a bad choice for me. I let her pick the spots, and she was more familiar with with Charlotte. But once I saw the type of people that were going up in there, and I was overdressed, I'm like, what kind of place she brought me to? And then when I saw how she was dressed when she showed up, I'm like, oh no. So that lasted all of about an hour of me staying there, and I ended up leaving. She stayed, I left, and that was that. And I didn't feel any kind of way about it, because again, you misrepresent something to me, then you don't get afforded that type of courtesy where I'm just going to hang around and put up with it. So, so those are my experiences.
Okay, man.
I hope that doesn't sound cruel to people, because I don't mean it to be cruel, but, why hang around something that doesn't have any potential for you? And you're wasting your time and their time.
Okay. I'm gonna get to Nikki and Kim. Nikki. Yeah.
I'm here. I would have to agree with, was that Rashid that was just talking?
Mhm.
In the sense of when you're in a situation and, I'm a big stickler on wasting my time. So I feel like that if we not vibing or something just ain't clicking or something's not there, then I'm exiting stage left because I'm at an age that I just don't have time to be wasting, and if we're not there, then I'm leaving too. But I would have to say a bad date for me was I met a guy off of blackpeoplemeet.com. The online thing is just has not been good for me. Like everybody I meet on there is just something is wrong or something is going on in their life. So I'm leaving the online thing alone. But
I was gonna say, that Black People Creep is like how I say it, because I've been on that same site.
It was really weird. Like I met a guy, and our actual first date was we met. I wanted us to meet at a meeting spot, so we met like at a gas station. But me not knowing that when I got there that he was a truck driver, so he's like, "Oh, just ride with me to drop this load off." I'm like, "What the hell?" Okay, so I've never been in an 18-wheeler before, so I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool, this might be all right." And it was not. So I'm riding with him to drop off a load and pick up a load. So we ride, and this is when I was in Atlanta. So we riding across all the way damn near to Alabama from Atlanta. I'm like, oh my God, where are we going? So the conversation was, I was able to get to talk to him in the car, in the truck, but it was a sense of he was, I don't want to say he was recently divorced, but he was divorced and he wasn't over the fact that his ex-wife cheated on him, and he was just so hurt. So our conversation kind of went to that. Like, that's all he was talking about. And I kind of have a thing for, I met another guy that was divorced, and all he kept talking about was his ex-wife. So that kind of, like, sticks out to me that I'm like, please don't talk about what you went through with your ex-wife, because that's going to be a big turn-off to me. But that particular date, getting in the truck, going to drop off a load, and then him talking about his ex-wife the whole time kind of just threw me off. So the online thing is out the window for me. No more.
You sisters put up with a whole lot.
Was this the first date for you with the trucker?
Yeah, that was our first date.
So you were kind of, you were brave to get in that truck with him.
I know I was. I mean, you know what? I was kind of excited because I never had been in the truck before, like an 18-wheeler. I'm like, this might be fun. But then once we got in the truck and how far we had to drive, and I'm just like, okay, this is what you do. This is your life. Okay, no. I can't deal. No. Yeah. I prayed the whole time. He got me back to my car at the Quick Trip. I got back and I went home and I did not talk to him anymore. I blocked and deleted him out of my phone. Yeah. Block and delete.
He thought y'all had just a good old time, didn't he?
He probably did because of the fact that was his life, and I'm trying to just get back to my car and smiling and laughing at everything he's saying so I can get back to my car. But once I got back to my car, it was block and delete out of my phone.
Wow, y'all can't even say, okay, well, I appreciate the night, but it just didn't work out. It's like even all the people I've heard tonight, when it came to a close, it was just like block, delete, don't call, don't respond. Why can't you just say, hey?
You know what, Tim? I actually will tell you. I'll keep it real with you. I'll just be like, things are not, working out. I'll let you know that I'm going to block you and delete you out my phone. I'll let you know. I'm going to keep it real. So if you try to call, you're going to know that you ain't getting through unless you call from a different number. Because I've had guys do that and try to get through, and it's the reason why I blocked you, dude. So why aren't you calling from another number?
Right.
But I'll let you know.
Yeah, let them know. Kim.
Yeah.
No, you've never had a bad issue, huh?
Well, I would say 99% of my first dates never happen. So they typically don't go bad. I mean, I've had a bad experience, but 99% of them never happen. Yeah.
They stand you up or something?
No, they usually kind of show their hand very early on. I'm more of a conversationalist, so I like to get to know people by phone, and or if it's online dating, kind of writing back and forth before going to actually meet someone. So if that happens, usually they kind of show their hand very early on, and you can kind of tell. At least I can. Usually they'll ask for a first date to come to their house so they can cook for me, or something very impersonal, something very inappropriate for the first date. Might get a call or a text at 2:30 in the morning saying, "I want to see you," and to me that shows your hand. I don't even know you. Why would you want to see me at 2:30 in the morning unless it's some kind of a booty call? So I will usually delete and block at that point. So that's why 99% of my first dates never happen. But the worst first date I had was with the guy actually when I first moved here to Charlotte. He was, we had planned a meeting. A lot of the shopping centers up here was like one of those places that have like eateries and different kind of things going on in the shopping center. And it was one address for that entire center and just kind of suite numbers. Well, he gave me the main address to meet him. And I didn't have the suite number, so I was kind of walking around looking for that actual suite or the actual restaurant itself. So I was late getting there because of that. And I was maybe 10 minutes late, but when I say he was furious because I was like 10 minutes late and I was explaining to him that you didn't.
Hold on a second, please. Somebody is making a lot of noise and I can barely hear you. Is that you?
No, it's not me.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to mute everybody. I'm sorry. I just couldn't hear you. So please continue. I'm sorry. I just couldn't.
Yeah. So he just had a really bad attitude about me being late, and he kept voicing that. And so you can only apologize so many times. I tried to explain to him he didn't give me the suite number, and so I was like basically going door to door until I found the actual restaurant. And so he was just talking about how he thought it was rude for people to do that, and he just kept going on and on and on, and till I had to just be like, listen, dude, seriously, like we can end this right now if it's an issue. And then he was like, oh no, it's not an issue. I'm sorry, I'll let it go. After saying it like 10 times, and then so then we finally could get into a place where we could actually have a conversation. And then he got a call from someone, and you could hear the woman on the other line crying, and she was begging and asking for his help because he was some kind of a mortgage consultant. And so she was trying to find ways to keep her house. She was trying not to be foreclosed on, and he was really rude to her. She's crying on the other end, and I hear her crying. And he just was like, I don't know what to tell you. You don't have enough money, yada yada yada. Stop calling me until you get the money. And he hung up the phone, and he's like laughing. Wow. At this woman's pain, and was just, people kill me how they expect you to work for free and this and that. And he was just the rudest person I've ever encountered. And on top of the fact that the conversation, once we did finally start having conversation, was just about how much money he had and this and that. And so I just paid for the bill and dismissed myself from that date.
Hold on. You got so much money, but you pay for the bill?
Well, I actually asked to do that because we kept going back and forth about it. It almost got to a point where the whole date was tension. First it was the tension with me being late. Then it was the tension between him kept bringing up his income, and I was like, listen, dude, I bring my own bank account here. I don't need, to know what you got going on in yours. I'm not interested in that. And anybody who would be interested in how much you got in your bank, you shouldn't be interested in anyway. So I was just a really, really, really big turn off for that. But that just went way over his head. Even though I had that conversation with him, it still just went over his head, and he still wanted to kind of go into what he had and what he didn't have. And I was just like, okay. So when she brought the check, I just kind of threw some money in the envelope and just kind of dismissed myself and walked off. I didn't even tell him bye. I just was just kind of really done with that.
See, there's another one.
I felt like I wasted like an hour and a half of my life.
Didn't tell him bye. Could have easily said, hey, this didn't work out. good meeting you. Done. It seems
No,
like it's easier for people to just leave and like you never existed.
No, I told him take care and walked off. Yeah. I got this. When he reached for the bill, I said I got this. I put the money in there and said take care and just walked off. It was it was just very, I just really felt like I wasted an hour and a half of my life. So, and I wanted to make it real clear I did not want him calling me again. So.
Okay. Well, we've been on here 2 hours. We're going to go ahead and close it out right now. We appreciate everybody for being on this call, and we will be going back to relationship calls. That's what people seem to really like and have, and I love this conversation. I learn things from each and every person that speaks. After this Wednesday call, we'll be going back to relationships calls, and we're going to stay on there for a while. So hopefully y'all will join us and give us your input like you did tonight. Again, I appreciate everybody for stopping in and sharing. And I just love it. Relationships. That's what Charlotte Execs is all about. So with that, we're just going to go ahead and close out. Have a good night, everyone.
All right, everybody, take care.
Right,
Nice talk.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to Charlotte Execs After Dark, where we discuss relationships, business talk, and real life. We'd love for you to join us live. Visit charlotteexecs.com for more information. Until next time, enjoy life.